Hi, I'm going to carry out a 40,000k service on my bike. I thought I'd just go through it and put it on YouTube, and if anybody needs it. I did have a bit of a look and I couldn't actually see it, any service being done on this is a 2013 Motor Guzzi Sport 1200 quad valve, so it's a 40,000k service. Well, just remove the side panels, or remove the seat first, and remove these little side panels. Just pull it out. There's actually a little clip here that just pull that out, clips down, and comes up. That's the panel off, and I've also pulled the one off the other side. You got those out. You've got to remove a little Allen key on this side, just at the front of the tank. I'm just using a bit with a 10mm ratchet spanner, and there's another screw that's on this side, and there's one up inside here. I don't know if you can see it up in there, and there's another one on the same on the other side, and there's one little nut underneath here, and that front panel comes out of the tank. Okay, undone the 4 little Allen key bolts and the one nut, and now this is the front panel that goes right in there on the front of the tank. So you have to remove that, because otherwise you can't get the tank off. Then you need to undo the rear tank support bolt, which is under the seat. There you go. Okay, once you get the back bolt up, just be careful, there's a rubber that's sitting underneath here as well, so there's one on top, one underneath. I just got a block of timber there. Then what has to happen, the 2 vent tubes, this one here and that one, you've got to just disconnect them from the T-fitting here so you can pull the tank out. Also, there's a wire to the fuel sender and pump. Just disconnect this one as well. Okay, these 3 pipes are disconnected, or 2 pipes, that one, this one, and the electrical connector. So I've got them all out the back, and you proceed from there. Yeah, at this stage it's probably better off to just drain as much fuel out of the tank that you can, because you're going to disconnect the main fuel line from under here, under the tank there. We don't want fuel all over the place. As you can see, that's the fuel line that goes into the bike, and there's some little plastic clips. There's probably a special tool to remove that from the outlet on the tank. All I did was just those little tags inside there. I just use this small screwdriver here, just to very carefully just push them back, and then just rotate it for the last one a little bit so you can get to it. Then it just pulls out. You probably could get I think I have seen them, automotive shops have got a tool that, whether it'll fit in there I don't know. It's probably a proper Motor Guzzi tool, I'd say. Another thing, when removing the tank, make sure you put some soft padding as you're lifting the tank up like that, because you can scratch the front of the tank, I would say, quite easily. It's not a very hard tank. The tank's off. Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. Where the hardest bit is trying to get that fuel pipe off. So now we've got the get to the air cleaner now quite easily. So we'll proceed in having a look at that. Okay, we'll undo these screws, a couple on the front here. Just disconnect the hose, another couple of screws here, little plug, another hose. Just pull those off, and this top section can come off. Okay, I've taken all the screws out. This pipe is off. I've got to get into the air cleaner. This little pipe here just slides through there, it's just a breather. Disconnected that, and this should come off now. Yep. And there's this pad, this top part, and there's the air filter. And that looks pretty clean. At the 40,000 server, it does say to replace it, but as you can see, I don't think it's had, it's been a city bike most of its life, this one, so it's in the bush now, so it probably end up getting a bit dirty while I've got it. Yeah, so that's getting into the air filter, so I think I will replace that because it's 40,000k. It looks pretty good, but I'll replace it anyway. They don't cost much. Next part is going to be the rockers valve. Remove the valve covers, pull the spark plugs out, and while I'm in here, I'm going to check the belt on the front to the alternator. As I bought this bike second hand, so I'm not sure what exactly has been done to it. It looks like it's been looked after pretty well, but I'll just check those belts, and at least if I want to go for a ride across Australia, I know everything is pretty good on it. Okay, to get the spark plugs and remove the spark plugs, and also the rocker cover, you just remove this. All you need is a small screwdriver, something like that. Just poke it out. Then there's an Allen key behind that, and that plate will come off. Okay, once you've got the little covers off, pull the spark plug cap off. Just be careful you don't tear it though. Here we go. Shouldn't be any oil down there. If there's oil, the rocker cover gasket's leaking, so there shouldn't be any oil. That's nice and dry. Just pop that down there next to where the coil is. Now you can proceed. I'd just blow that out with air. Any rubbish or foreign before you start trying to pull the spark plug out. Make sure there's absolutely nothing down in there. That's all pretty clean. Okay, spark plugs are out. There you go. So it's probably a good idea to replace these plugs at 40,000, like they recommend. Even though this one looks perfectly alright, but I'm going to replace them. You might as well. Now through the valves, just undo these 4 screws. Make sure that the they're actually they're like a nut. So make sure the rubber washer, you don't lose them, and pull the cover off with the gasket. So I'll get to that stage in a second. Okay, I've got both rocker covers off. What I'm also going to do, I'm going to check the front belt for the alternator now. So I'm just going to loosen off the oil cooler. I'm pretty sure I don't have to actually disconnect the oil cooler with the pipes and everything, but just lay it forward, and it should give me enough room to get to the front cover down here. So there's one bolt up the top, go through there, and there's a couple of Allen keys down in there. You sort of actually lift the oil cooler actually comes out of these 2 slots, so you can lift it out. You can see the rubbers here. The rubbers on the end there, that just lifts out, of these holes here, and then you've got to undo these little Allen keys down in there to pull that bracket off, and you'll be able to just take the cover off the front. We'll give that a go. The bracket off the front, these little spaces come out like so, and just disconnect your horn if you want to get it right out of the way, and then we can proceed to take the front cover of the engine off. Okay, we have the cover off. I'll get in there and show you. And there's the belt for the alternator. Now just have a look at the belt. As you can see, there's no cracks. Normally if it's starting to go, you'll see little splits and cracks in this belt, then I would definitely replace it. But this one looks really good. Still, tension's quite good. Might give it a bit of a blowout, get the dust out of there. That's the alternator end. Now when you get the cover off, probably the best way I've found is use a 5mm little bit with a ratchet 10mm on it, and then you can get the 4 remaining bolts. So the 4 bolts that are left in there after you take that centre bracket off are the bottom ones and the 2 top ones. And just make sure that there are little spaces inside these here, which this one here, they slot into there, that you don't lose them, and that they go back in. Otherwise you'll end up breaking the cover, so that's important. You see it just falls out, that one fell out there. Cover looks all pretty good. So I will proceed, I'll just blow that out and then I'll just put that cover back on. But before I'll do that, I'm going to use this nut on the front of the crankshaft here to turn the engine over to get the valves in the right position for the adjustment as soon as I get my dial gauge. Okay, up to the stage I'm going to adjust the valves. So in the manual, the valve clearance is 0.15mm and 0.2mm. So you need to get the cylinders on the compression stroke. So the easiest way to get it on the compression stroke is that inlet side, right, because it's on where the throttle body is. Turn the engine clockwise, in a clockwise direction. I'm just using a spanner on the front here. I've got the actual cover off, of course, but you can do, there's a plug you can pull out and leave the cover on if you want to get that. So then you just rotate the engine until you see the inlet valve start to go down. Okay, so now there's the intake, so it's opening, the intake valves are opening up. So basically fuel's going in there now. They're closing up. Okay, so you find now the next stroke is your compression stroke. Now if you can check that. See if I can do this and hold the camera at the same time. You can hold the compression gauge in there if you want, and you can see the needle will go up. Let's see if I can suss this thing out a bit. There you go, see that compression going up, see the needle? Okay, so I know, you definitely know that's on compression. You can put, if you can get your finger down in there, you can do the same thing. Now I've cut a spark plug and drill the hole through the middle of it. I'll show you that. It's quite an easy little setup to make, and it basically guides the screwdriver I've got in there a bit, so it stays nice and in the correct position. Okay, so I'll screw that back in. There is a special fancy setup you can buy, but I haven't got that. I'm just using what I've got here at home. Works just as well. And you got to get this piston right on top dead centre. So now I've got the screwdriver going down that hole. Now what you'll see as I'm turning that screwdriver is going to start going up. See that? Right, so you can basically see that's a top dead centre there now. So if I go back slightly the other way, there you go. Now I can put my dial gauge on there. Oops. Okay, I've got the dial gauge set up now. I just had to put the camera down. Now the idea is to get it exactly at top dead centre. You'll see it's going up, that piston still. See, there it is at its top now. You watch, it'll start to go down. There you go. So I'm just going to wind it back a bit. So just after that 90 is where we have our top dead centre, where it actually stops. There you go. That's top dead centre there. Right. Now you get your feeler gauge. The point 1.5 is your inlet, and the point 2 is your exhaust on this side, and we'll set that in a second. Okay, once you've got it on top dead centre, you can remove your dial gauge and everything. So now I'm going to set the tappets on the inlet side, which is 0, if you can see that or not. I can't, it's a bit hard. Anyway, it's 0.15 millimetre, and that goes just in between your rocker and the top of your valve. You can see that there is too tight. Right, so I'm going to have to adjust that. Okay, I've loosened that lock nut off, which is on your top of your rocker. I've got the Allen key in there, and I'm just going to, so I've got that feeler gauge in now. It's just a nice resistance. That's what you need to get them on all the 4 valves. So the next valve, I'm going to adjust this one, then you just tighten your lock nut up in that position, recheck it, make sure you've got the same resistance. Then you do this inlet valve, and you repeat the process with both exhaust valves, and you do exactly the same thing, top dead centre, inlet down, okay, then comes up on the compression stroke, set the exhaust and inlet on the other cylinder as well. It's exactly the same, and then you've got your valves done. Okay, once all the valves have been done, I've just finished the ones on the right hand side. You can put all the rocker covers back on and the front cover, and I'm going to put the oil cooler back on, but just leave the tank off. So I'm going to give the throttle bodies a bit of a clean through the air cleaner, though I know I probably should take the whole throttle bodies off to clean them up, but I'm going to put some carby clean down through the insides and give them a bit of a squirt down in there just to get, you can actually see it with a mirror, so you should be able to clean them all right, just get the most of the stuff off the butterflies. Okay, I've set up a mirror to look down the throttle, down the throttle body. You can see the butterfly. I'll open it up there. You see all the black soot around the outside. That's what I'm going to try and get off, because there's too much soot around these butterflies. Causes the airflow and the adjustment to go out of sync with your throttle body. So you want to try. It's not a lot on it, but so what I'm going to basically do is blow some carby clean in a pressure pack can down in there. That should rip most of that black soot off without actually taking the whole throttle body off, which is quite a bit of a drama. I don't think I need to go that far. It's only on 40,000 Ks, so give that a go. Okay, I've given it a clean with the throttle body cleaner. You can see that, but it's a heap cleaner around the edges now on both sides. So all I basically did was just got the throttle body cleaned, put a little bit of extension. 2 of these, there's a little bit of with a little joiner in the middle of it. Just held it upside down and sprayed it in there a couple of times with the butterflies open and the butterflies closed, and it's got a lot of the soot off. So that should be a heap better. So I'll start putting all the air filter and everything back together now. Also, a good idea just before you put the air cleaner on is to clean out the engine breather pot, which is a little, you probably can't see it, but just in there in the corner, that's where any oil that catches in here drains out into a tube, which is the other end of it is here. Just pull that plug off and give it a bit of a blow through with air, get any crap out of it, because you don't want that blocking up. At least you can drain this periodically. If there's any bit of blow-by oil, which is pretty normal, fills up in this tube here. So give that a good clean out too, and then put the air cleaner back on. Okay, after it's all assembled, I started the engine up, got it warm, and then you've got to balance the throttle bodies. So this is where you plug in, a little screw here, with a washer. It comes out of there, this little piece here I screwed in. Same on the other side. That goes to the carburetor balancer. So it's a Carby Pro, the one I've got. And you can see that's pretty well spot on. When I first put it on, it was the left cylinder was right down here. Now to adjust that and get them both even, the throttle body on the right hand side is your primary one, so that's non-adjustable on this side, except for the TPS switch, which is here, but no need to adjust that. So that's the one you come off. This one here, this throttle body here is adjustable, and that will sync. This throttle body will sync with the other side. This is the one you adjust to get it even with the right hand side throttle body. And that's that screw there. You can see if I adjust this, it'll go out. You don't try not to push the screw. See that? See it running out. As I adjust that now, it's going to come nice and even. There you go. See it coming up. It was miles out before. Just needs very slight turns. Just come back. What I noticed after doing the valves and balancing those throttle bodies, there's nowhere near as much pop back through the exhaust. It was quite bad before. You can hardly hear anything now. It's pretty well spot on. So that's your throttle bodies balanced. And that's the important thing to do, part of the service. Okay, so next thing I'll be doing, I'll put the seat and everything back together and the side covers, and we'll tackle the oil. Up to the oil change part. Right, here's drain plug. Now if you haven't got a K&N oil filter, you can use one of these. The K&N's got a little nut on the end of the oil filter. It's aftermarket, they're pretty good, or one of those. They go up, the oil filter's just under here, and that'll fit on that, and you can just undo that, and then you top it up. Right here. to drain the transmission or the gearbox. Is right there, and you can top him up through here. Final drive, drain him through that one and top him up through there. So I'm going to do this part of it now, and when I come to refilling it, I'll be back. Old oil filter off, got the new one ready to go. Give it a good clean under the engine here where the old oil filter comes off. I've drained the transmission oil, so that's ready to go back in. The old oil looks a bit milky, that oil. And also I've drained the rear drive, and that's also ready to go. So when I'm going to top up the oil filter with clean engine oil, because the position it goes in, it goes straight in like that, so no oil's going to spill out. So I might as well just top it up, save the engine running dry for a few seconds, because it's in that position. The oil filter's back on. When checking the oil level, just set it in there, but don't screw it in, and then it's on the second mark is the right oil. 3.5 litres, according to the manual, fills up, is the oil capacity of the engine anyway. With the final drive, the oil level's correct when it's near the top of the hole, and it's the same with the gearbox. When the oil is near to the top of the thread, then the oil level's correct. Okay, so I'm using, this is for the engine, Penrite, and using this for the final drive, 80W90. It's not a fully synthetic. And this is for the gearbox, 75W90. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and fill them up. Okay, I've started up the engine, primed all up, and let it sit for about 10-15 minutes. So now I'm just going to check the oil level. So you don't screw the dipstick in. So I've put 3.5 litres in, that includes the oil filter. Just dip it out and it should be the right level, I'd say. Oh yep, look at that, spot on. Okay, so she takes 3.5 litres of oil and you screw him back up again. After our oil service, need to get rid of the little spanner that is on the dash. Now I've already done it, but I'm going to show you how I did this. You've got to turn the ignition on, and then around behind under the clutch lever, actually, this little switch here. That little button as you're scrolling. You only just got to give it quick little bursts. So you hold it, just give it a long, hold it in first. There'll be a little spanner that will turn up underneath there. Right, and you've got to put this code in. Now that's the code, 36421 is the code for the Motor Guzzi Sport with this button. 2013 my model is. It may do other models, but that's a code and it does work. Alright, so you press, you got to, first of all you got to turn this to mode, switch the switcher to mode, then just scroll through this will come up, just give it a quick push, battery comes up, battery voltage, then your menu, then hold that button in, comes up here. Then you just give it a quick, you'll see there it'll be on exit. Give it another quick little blast on the button, then another button that gives you to diagnostics, and then hold the button in, and then it gives you insert the service code. So you insert that service code. Now it's just a quick little blast for each number. So I'm going to put 3 in. Then hold it in for the next one. Then you've got to put 6 in. 6 little blits on the button. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then hold it in again. Then put 4 in. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Hold it in again. You whack your 2 in. 2. Hold it in again. Your last number, which is 1, so it's a quick little blast, which is 1. Then hold it in. And here you go. Okay, you've got into the ECU now. It's a bit hard to see with the sun. You got ECU errors. We don't want to go there. The top one is exit. ECU errors. Just give it a quick little blast. That'll turn you through the menu. Dashboard errors. No. Delete. You can delete your errors in here as well. Reset service. Okay, so you press that in there, and I'm not going to go through that whole system because you press that in and it's just by quickly zipping the button or holding it in, and that'll it gives you a menu whether you want to erase the service or not. So I'm not going to do that this time because I've already done it. It just gives a yes or no. Just flip up to yes and hold it in, and then it'll bang, your service is reset. Now just to exit this, keep doing little buttons through there. To hit exit, then hold it in. Right, now you've got to exit this part of the menu as well. Don't forget you're in the second menu here. Exit again. That's it. Right, so now you're back into your beginning, so you can just, that's it. And that's how you can get, there's a whole lot of stuff you can do in there, but that's basically I wanted to show you. That was the code, and that's how you put the code in. For your diagnostic code, right? That's your diagnostic code. It's not your service code, it's your diagnostic code. There's 2 codes. There's one that you can set, and this one looks like it's set by Guzzi. I managed to get that one. I actually got that off the internet, that number, and it worked, so it was great. And that's that part of it. Okay, well that finishes the service. I love this Guzzi. It's a great bike. It's just such a nice bike to ride. Easy to service, you know, parts, no hassle at all. They're just a genuinely nice bike. I know I've had a Stelvio, and I've also had a 1981 Le Mans. That was a great bike too. That I rode it across Australia, that one. Put a few photos of them on the end. So I've had 3 Guzzis. One old one which was great, but the newer ones so I've had the newer ones. I had 2 with the 4-valve engine, but I think out of the 3 I probably like this one the best. I think it's the most comfortable. It's also, my wife jumps on the back as well, and she's really comfy on it. So overall it's just a really good bike. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and it might help some people along. I know it's fairly long. I might have to split this video up. YouTube may not let me put the whole length of it on, but we'll see how it goes. All right, see ya.